Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 3 of Chimp Chat. I'm very excited for this. I have Ray here. I met him at ASP, the American Society for Primatologists conference. I think we crossed paths a couple years ago, but we chatted a little bit more this year.
Last year too.
Yeah. I'm your host, Virgie Sanchez. Here at Chimp Chat, we talk about mostly primates, and it's mostly educational. I want to incorporate things that are very important to me. The 4 Ps, which is primates, pit bulls, pizza, and punk rock. Ray, tell me just a little quick intro about yourself.
Well, hi. My name is Raymond Vagell. I'm a primatologist. My interests are mostly primate cognition, welfare, and enrichment. I've just recently got my PhD from Texas State University in the applied anthropology department. My master's was on biopsychology, on animal behavior and conservation. So most of my work are multidisciplinary. And I'm a first-gen queer scientist.
So you just got your PhD.
I did. I walked in spring.
I want to highlight the importance of queer representation in this field. Representation for marginalized groups in any discipline is important because it helps to break down any stereotypical walls. We belong. We matter. Sí se puede. I'm trying to apply for my PhD. My very first intro episode to this podcast, I was applying and I was waiting to hear back. It didn't happen, but that's okay. Here we are. I'm gonna reapply again. Were you always interested in primates, or did this something that happened, I guess, over time?
I've always been interested in primates. I actually grew up around macaques and langurs.
Oh, wow.
So my formative years was, observing primates in the wild.
Where was this at?
Malaysia.
Okay.
I
Oh,
grew up
that's
in Malaysia.
incredible.
In a small town called Ep.03. It's sort of like a metropolis, but in the periphery, you still have natural habitat, forests and stuff like that. So with macaques and langurs, they do come into the cities. Also, when I go on nature walks and hiking, I've seen them in the wild as well.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yep, I grew up walking. So growing up, I was interested in primates, but don't really have a set idea of why I am interested in them.
Okay.
Not until I got to college.
The college, was this your bachelor's?
Started at a community college. I did my 2 years at a community college. If you want to not have any college debt, definitely do community college.
Yeah, that's what I did too. But for me, it was it took me 10 years to get my associates because I was just going off and on, and there was just a huge period of time where I just did not go until more recently. But
it took me about 3 years for my associates.
Okay.
And then took about 2 years off, sort of I don't know what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of thing, I majored in sociology.
Nice.
And so I wanted to be a social worker, sort of stuff.
Work with people.
And so with my community college, you have to do 2 internships to graduate.
Okay.
So I'm glad that happened because I was a social worker intern for 2 semesters, and that's when I realized I hate working with humans. I didn't have my bachelor's and regretted my decision.
Yeah, I feel like talking to a lot of people when we make these connections at the conferences or anybody we meet in school or just along passing, I feel that we all kind of have the same, primates or even animals over humans. We are just the most destructive species, and we want to sit here and act like we're the most dominating, but here we are destroying if we were so smart and so dominating, we wouldn't be destroying the only planet that we have. So
being a social worker takes a lot out of you.
Yeah, I can only imagine. We talked a little bit about, so you weren't always my whole life, I just want to study primates. It came years later after college. Was there anything that in particular that maybe inspired you, or it was just over time?
So I've always been interested in primate behavior, right? Growing up, seeing primates not in their natural habitat, but sort of like, coming out into the city. So that's always like in the back of my mind, was just like primate behavior is like super interesting. So once I got to college, what got me interested was being interested in primate behavior in captivity.
Oh,
How much how plastic their behaviors, how much they can adapt. Well, most of them can adapt,
uh-huh.
right? So the ones that can adapt, like I'm super interested in the behavioral changes, how they adapt, and new behavior that they came out with to adapt in captivity. And so, number one, that really got me into studying captive primates.
Okay.
And also, like I watched episode 1 of your podcast.
Oh, did
You said
you?
you're trying to do math.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Just your field work, like, girl, I cannot do.
Yeah. Well, yeah, when you were saying how you were interested in the captivity, like I'm the complete opposite. I just want to be out in the wild. I want to be, but it's different because it's, we're studying different things and different species, I think. And I mean, there's so much that us primatologists, like all of the subfields and all of our interests is like they're so niche, like when we go to the conferences and we see their posters and their presentations, and like there's just so many topics. It's things that you never even think would exist that somebody wants to study. And it's all so fascinating, all of it, because I feel like we all have the same end goal. We want to, conserve these species, or we want to bring awareness to how endangered or whether they are endangered or not. But I mean, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that tangent, but I did want to ask you if you do you have a favorite species, or you just kind of like love all primates, or?
So I do have a favorite primate species, and it is not the primate I work with. My first love are the Hamadryas baboons. So for my bachelor's project, I did like grooming behavior in captive baboons. So the Hamadryas are my favorite. I just love them. Not that I hate the lemurs that I work with, but Hamadryas is my first love. It's always have like a special place in my heart.
Yeah.
But my favorite animal in the whole wide world are cats.
You're a cat person.
I do have a dog.
Uh-huh.
My dog thinks that she's a cat because she grew up with her sisters, my cat.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
and that just animal behavior, I think in general, that's so fascinating how dogs that grow up. I mean, I've just seen videos, but it makes sense.
Yeah. She is. She doesn't like other dogs. She doesn't really care about humans. She likes cats. So when we go out on a walk, if she see like any like outdoor or feral cats, like she wanted to say hi to them. But if she sees other dogs, she's like, no, thank you.
That is so funny. So she even like on walks acts like a cat, because most cats are they're not as dependent on humans as dogs are. They're just very like, oh, I'll come to you when I want to come to you, and kind of a thing.
Yeah, and I have my cat thinks that she's a dog.
What else does she do to act
my
like
dog or cat?
the dog?
My dog. I mean, she acts like a dog, right? But like she just like socially, she thinks she's a cat.
Okay.
Really, like I'll bring her to daycare. She just sits in the corner, like she doesn't really care about the other dogs.
Judging all the other animals.
Everybody. Yeah, I brought her to like a dog park a few times. She was like jump up on the bench and just like, what are we doing? Can we just go home?
Oh my god! And the other cats are fine. The other cats, they all all of them get along with each other and everything.
They do. It's because I have 3 cats, so 2 of them passed away from old age. I have my youngest cat. She's now 15, so she's like the oldest. She acts like a dog.
Cats live forever. She acts like a dog.
She gives me kisses like a dog. She's very needy like a dog. Yeah, she's not what you think a cat is. So I have really interesting animals at home.
Oh, that's the best. Yeah, I mean, I'm more of a dog person, but I did grow up with a couple of cats. I did have one cat in particular who acted like a dog, and I think that's why I liked that cat the most. Like, I would prefer cats to act like a dog, where they, want to cuddle with you and they'll come up to you, give you kisses, and just
Mhm.
not your typical cat behavior. I don't want to say no cats are like that, but I mean, usually they are not.
Usually they're very aloof. I was lucky that all three of my cats are very, I don't want to say needy. It's more like they really enjoy interacting
Human. Yeah,
with us.
yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
So you have is it a fish tank behind you?
Yeah, I have two tanks.
Oh,
And then you can,
wow. Okay.
and then you
Yeah.
can see.
So all kinds of
Yeah,
animals. I love it. I love it. Love it.
yeah. I have guppies, some of like catfishes and stuff. But yeah.
You mentioned that you recently got your PhD. Amazing. What are you doing? Any current goals or future goals, or what's going on in your life right now that you've recently received your PhD?
I was taking a break for a few months.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing it for a while. Trying to get my papers published, looking for like a job or like a postdoc. With what's going on right now, hard to find anything, but
Yeah. Same. That's why it's been difficult for me to get anybody, a lot of budget cuts. And so I've got a lot of replies from various schools letting me know that. So it got really discouraging. Hopefully, Texas will be in my near future. Fingers crossed. I love your shirt.
it was a gift from one of my lab mates.
Oh, I love it. Do you still keep in touch with anyone in your cohort or
Oh yeah. Everybody, we're a close knit family.
love it? Remind me, where did you get your master's?
So I got my master's at Hunter College. So it's a biopsychology program. My project for my master's was looking into the behavior and the psychophysics of color vision. And so that's how I
Okay.
started working with the rough lemurs because my advisor, Dr. Andrea Baden, she worked with rough lemurs in Madagascar. And she had told me about this phenomenon where the rough lemurs, some of them have red green color vision.
Hmm.
And so you can genotype their blood to figure out if they are red green colorblind or they have red green color vision. Generally, the males, the animals with the XY sex chromosome, they're all colorblind. So you need a mutated, two pairs of mutated X chromosome, right? So females or animals with two X chromosome, they have a chance to have red green color vision. For my project, because I'm in the psych department, so we train animals like animal behavior stuff. So I incorporated a lot of these multidisciplinary topics or methods into my project. So I don't know if you ever heard of queer in STEM, a STEM acronym
Mm-hmm.
for science, technology, engineering, and math, right? I incorporated a lot of like these multidisciplinary questions into my project. Yes, you can genotype them, get the blood, but what I did was I trained them to use a computer touchscreen and show us if they can see red or green.
Wow.
So there's science in like animal training, right? I
Mm-hmm.
actually built the touchscreen myself. So there's the technology and the engineering in building that.
Wow. Oh my good. Wow. So you did everything from that's incredible.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
built
God.
everything from the ground up. Yeah.
God, how fun was that fun or was that very challenging or
Oh,
both?
both, actually. So I lived in New York City. I was from New York City. My program is at New York City. My field site is actually at Durham, North Carolina. So my lemurs are at Duke Lemur Center. And so when I started this project, I basically flew back and forth New York City and Durham. to set things up.
Wow.
But once everything
Okay.
was set up, I was lucky enough that Duke Leader Center was able to recruit some research assistants for me. I also was able to get a few research assistants. So I didn't really have to come back as much as I did. I did stay down here for like almost 6 months, setting everything up. It was really fun. It definitely was really fun working with the animals, so sort of like training them, having the Duke Lemur Center staff help me train the animals, right? And so it's one of those like projects that are like a pilot project that people have. So
Yeah.
it's fun in a way that like this is super exciting. But it's
Yeah.
also really frustrating because like, you know, when things don't work out, things just do not work out, and it's,
Yeah.
you know, yeah.
Oh, well, and then can you tell me then a bit about your dissertation and yeah, with the PhD?
Sure. So my dissertation sort of continued with the work that I did with the rough limits, right? So my dissertation question asks whether if you could use touchscreens as a form of enrichment to better captive primate welfare. And so going in, the focus sort of shift away from a lot of like biopsychology, training animal cognition, to sort of like we understand the primate cognition now, right? Can we use this to sort of like make sure that they are enjoying what they're doing? And so there are a lot of cognitive research with primates now.
Mm-hmm.
And so really I wanted to know if can we not only build good science or build good apparatus to measure all these
Uh-huh.
cognition, but also could we build something that also benefits the animal research?
Yeah, just not like overworking them. I'll make it worth their while too.
Yeah, happy animals need good data, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that was the question for my dissertation. We went in with a modified touchscreen that I built, and then we asked questions like, you know, how do they feel when they are participating in cognitive testing? What are some tangible things that we could measure to sort of like see what the difference are reflecting on like when they go in to do research or like on days when they're not doing research? So we measured cortisol in their saliva. So we trained the lemurs to chew on cotton swabs. And then we measured
Wow.
the saliva in the cotton swab to see like concentration of cortisol when they are participating in cognitive testing or like on days when they're not. Right?
Mm-hmm.
These are tangible, measurable, scientific data.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I went back to my biopsychology route. We asked this question: would if we give them a choice between working to get food reward out of these touchscreen, or we just give them food reward, they don't have to work for this, what would they choose? And so this is a concept called contra freeloading. And this is a paper that was written by a scientist named Glenn Jensen in like 1963, like in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my colleagues from my master's program, Sarah Matters, she told me about this thing, and I just like got so excited about this topic. And
Yeah.
it's always like really fascinate me how much you can understand an animal just by giving them choices. And
Yeah.
so aside from measuring saliva, what we did was give them a choice. They can choose either free food or work for food. And so what we found was that as a population, they differ in their choice, but we do see clear differences in animals who enjoy working, enjoy participating in cognitive testing. Almost all of the time, they would rather work for food
That is
than getting free
so
food.
interesting. It's like you're just doing this with like little humans, you know? That
Yeah,
is
yeah, we can do that with kids. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Oh, that is oh my goodness. Yeah, so I don't know much about I mean, we learned a lot about all the primates, but chimps are my my favorite. So I studied more about chimps. So I don't know that much about behaviors, how they live, or things that you were mentioning. And that is just, that's crazy to hear. That's so cool. That's the coolest thing.
Contra freeloading studies with chimps too.
Yeah, I didn't even think to look at something like that because I focus more on just how to it can be done to conserve them in the wild, which is just the whole beast in itself, because that's just, it seems almost impossible. Yeah, like anything that has to do with studying chimps, or I guess any primates in captivities, is I don't read, things. I don't read articles or anything about those. But I mean, it's just hearing what you're doing, and I hope that after this episode we get to do more, and maybe with other primatologists. It's so fascinating, all of it, even if it's topics that I don't want to say I'm not interested in, but I guess that I don't really know much about, I should say. It's always great to hear about any studies that don't harm the animals. I mean, I know that studies or that would harm the animals, that's been outlawed, well, for certain species. I know chimps here in the U.S., but I mean, I don't think that's illegal for macaques or any other. I think there's still some labs that are allowed to test, and that are purposely putting these primates in pain, which is pretty sad, which is very sad. Super interesting to hear what you're doing and what you did, and what got you interested in that. And that's, I don't know, that's so cool.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in, passionate about less invasive or non-invasive research.
Yeah.
I was lucky that I actually got a grant from the Animal Welfare Institute to do my dissertation. So I'm glad that I was able to do a lot of my work on like the least amount of invasive calls. Yeah,
that's so cool. Where did this take place? Was this at school, or was this a different location?
So my animals are at Duke. So my animals are at Duke Lemur Center.
Yeah.
So when I started my PhD, we actually moved down here to Durham.
Are you located near the Duke Lemur Center?
Yes. So the Duke Lemur Center is in Durham, North Carolina. And so we moved into Durham, North Carolina. When I started my PhD, which is actually in Texas. So the idea was, when I started my PhD, was to fly between Texas, New York, and North Carolina.
Oh, wow. Oh my goodness. Okay, so the whole 5 year, because it was a 5-year program for PhD, you were not in Texas the whole time?
I was not. So when I started my PhD, it was 2020, spring of 2020. I was in Texas for like the first 3 weeks of the semester, or 3 or 4 weeks of the semester. I think it was like spring break. I went back to New York City, and they're like, "Don't come back." I think I went back for 2021, a semester, like not a full semester, because it was still like hybrid. So what really happened was, like, it's a 5-year program. I mainly did my 2 years of like coursework online, and then 3-year here in Durham, my animal.
Oh, wow. Okay, because when I had met you, I just assumed you were living in Texas, because that's where the school was.
I was planning on living there for 2 years. Matter of fact, I signed a 1-year lease in my apartment when the pandemic happened. I had to pay like a whole year of rent, even though I'm not in Texas, because I signed a lease.
Oh no. The pandemic, they should have been understanding. That's messed up.
I mean,
that's so messed up.
It is. I mean, but then again, they have to eat.
Well, they should have at least like maybe 6 months, I don't know, done something to work with you.
Yeah.
I want to know, being at the Duke Lemur Center and living, I guess, near there, do you get to go back and visit whenever you want to? Do you have a special primatologist pass or something? Or
I love Duke Lemur Center. So I started there when I was doing my master's, right? So that's over 10 years ago. I started there.
Wow. Yeah.
The facility is not open to public.
Okay.
In general. So you can do course, but it's not like a zoo that you can just show up. And of us researchers, we just come in on days when we're doing our research. So I really like Duke Lemur Center. I enjoy working there, but once my research was done, like I couldn't really go back.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you know, unless I get volunteer there, or I just like can't just show up and be like, hey, can I go?
Yeah, unless you're doing the business, stay your business.
Yeah. But it's great. It's great. I love Duke Lemur Center. I love living in Durham.
Yeah, because I was thinking about applying there too. I was trying hard to avoid leaving California again after being in Washington for a little bit during my master's. But given the cards that I've been dealt, I'm now branching off at schools in different states. And Duke Lemur Center, I mean, that's incredible. You know, I'm sure for anything that as primatologists want to do.
Yeah, so the largest collection of lemurs outside of Madagascar. And so it's great for me because usually if I were to do my research at the zoo, like tops, I'll probably have like 5 animals to work with.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not including like animals that are not interested, right? So I have
Yeah.
over like 20 something animals. I generally are able to work with like about 7 of them. You know, like animals that are not interested, like I don't want to force them to.
Right. Yeah.
So like if you have
Yeah.
like 5 animals that is do like I'll probably like get like 2 animals.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they have largest population outside of Madagascar, and it's really great for female researchers. Is
Yeah.
what program are you interested in?
Well, it was more so of trying to find an advisor, you know, with primate backgrounds. So I've been researching best, I guess, primate labs because it's very rare to find an advisor that wants to take on somebody that wants to be out in the wild because nobody, you know, a lot of them, I feel like, work with primates that are either in captivity or just associated with that school or whatever the lab is at that school. I know that Boston has a great program too that I was looking at. But mostly I'm just looking for, you know, professors with primate backgrounds. The ones that are here in California, like every single one is like, oh, I'm retiring, I'm not taking any students this year, or it's the budget cuts. It's kind of the same thing. And so I'm gonna have to venture out outside of California, but it's okay. I mean, like enough time has passed, and fortunately, I have a husband who's supportive, and he's just, you gotta go, you know.
Yeah.
Never hold me back, never made me feel bad. In fact, he was so supportive that helped me with some funding so that I was able to go to Africa to do my research for my master's. And so I mean, ideally, I would be living in Africa, but I can't make him go, which is understandable. But we've talked about it, and he said, you know, just go back and forth if you need to. You can stay for months or whatever, however long it would take. I don't have to have my PhD, but it's something that I want, and just to kind of gain more experience. And also, I didn't really think about wanting to maybe teach classes or have the credentials to do so, but if I get my PhD, then I would. Right now, I'm hosting school talks, but these are kids that are between like 2nd grade and 4th grade, which is kind of my ideal subjects because I want to get them young and super interested in wildlife that they don't normally think about because we're here in the US and they don't, you know, have primates in their backyard, or they shouldn't, I should say. But it would be great to have that we know what I need to maybe host some high school level or even college level classes about what's going on in areas where out in the wild where species are endangered. Because I also feel people that work with primates in captivity, I don't know if they think about, oh, they're not endangered. I'm not saying people with master's or PhD level, but maybe, I don't know, kids in high school reading about, oh, there's, you know, where primates are in labs, they're not going to think, oh, it's okay, they're in the lab, so they're not endangered. And yeah, it's kind of one while they're young, get the wheels going about what's happening broader than what's just in your backyard. And I know there's zoos and things like that, but that's not the same. all animals should be, in a perfect world, they would all be free range, homes that they're native to. They wouldn't be sitting in cages. I just, I compare most animals, if I see them at a zoo or something, like, oh, I feel like they're in jail. Like, what if you were put in jail and you didn't do anything, when the infinite wilderness is your home and you're here at a zoo, all the animals look depressed at zoos,
I hope
most
not.
of them. I don't know. I feel like, I don't know, the animals look sad. And I mean, especially, I guess I should say the bigger bodied animals like polar bears, chimps and gorillas and like just the bigger animals. I don't know. I feel
That's
like
actually one of my interests is actually visitor perception at zoos. So you actually bring up a really good point. Like a lot of visitors think that animals are depressed, but they're not. Most animals
Okay.
they're not active during the day, right? They're not active during when the zoo is opened.
Yeah.
So they just either sleep or they're hiding somewhere. And I think it's like you said, it's like an education thing, right? We really get people to understand that, like, this lion is not depressed because it's just laying there for 10 hours. That's just how lions are.
if that's what they do for the most of their day, then I guess, I mean, that does make sense. That makes a lot of sense.
You bring up a really interesting point. And like, as primatologists too, like, I think we're so used to seeing animals in the wild, but also like sometimes like I said, animals, like their behaviors when they're in captivity, they change, right? Like, if you don't have to like range 10 hours a day finding food, like when you're in captivity, you're just like, I'm just gonna sit here and wait till you feed me.
Yeah, I mean, that their survival, I mean, it increases, I suppose, because they don't have to hunt for their food, they don't have to do the normal things, but I hope that most of these zoos or most of these facilities that have these primates in captivity are actually enriching their minds like they're supposed to be, especially since they can't do the things they normally would do, forage, or all the things that they would do to socialize and get their mental enrichment. Because I don't know, I feel like I don't know enough about labs or places that hold primates. Yeah, I don't want to keep saying captive, but like, that's not wild. I guess wild captive, I should say. As wild as you can, like sanctuaries and whatnot. But I would imagine it might be difficult to keep trying to come up with ways to keep them mentally stimulated so that they don't bore themselves to death, essentially.
So I'm a board member for a primate sanctuary out in Texas. So it's called Primarily Primates in Bexar County, Texas. And so we have over 300 plus animals, mostly primarily primates.
I think I follow them on Instagram.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a lot of chimps from biomedical, entertainment, pet, also a lot of animals. So like a lot of the sanctuaries, they don't really have enough money for like staff or like time, right? And so most captive primate, I think most of the enrichment comes from food. So food enrichment, like food puzzles, or just scattering seeds on the enclosure and just have them like pick it up. Really helped in a way that like sort of like they're just not like eating off like a trough. Right?
Yeah.
Most zoos now do have a welfare coordinator or like a welfare manager looking into specific. Well, I can't talk about like other animals, but like for primates, I do know that they do have a regiment of like welfare protocol that they adhere to. So like food enrichment, right? So they could like hide food or like put food in like a box so they could like go and also like a lot of some welfare is also just like the interaction between the animals and the visitor, right? So sometimes if you some zoos have like part of the enclosure glass like obscured, or like animals could be in an area where they could sit and like the visitors can't see them, but they could see them. And so there are a lot of like things that are being done to better the welfare of captive animals. And I'm not saying that like it's done, we did everything. We could do better.
Like it's always going to be a work in progress because there's always going to be different situations that come up.
Primates in biomedical labs, they do get enrichment. And so I think a lot of common misconception is that like they just get put into a cage and that's it. But they do get enrichment.
It's good. It's good to know. But there's facilities that aren't accredited, right? I know the ones that are, they're supposed to legally be providing enrichment, but I don't think every single facility is accredited, unfortunately.
Right. I think a lot of like those like roadside zoos or like hey kind of zoos, like you go in, you pay to like take a picture of the thing.
Oh my god.
Some zoos for profit probably don't really think about the primate welfare. They probably just think of the profit that they can get out of the primates, right?
Because if they did, they would understand that when you have people take pictures with primates and clothes, or even just like interacting with them, of course they're going to think, oh, I could have that primate as a pet. I wish that we could explain and in a way that everybody would understand and stop sharing those videos but it's social media is it's good, but it's also bad because of that.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. It's so hard to stop it because everyone's like, oh, it's cute. I mean, I was one of them, it took for me going to school, going to Central to learn about why it's not cute and explain to my friends and family. So for those of you that are listening, friends and family, at the end of this, I'm going to post a bunch of links and everything, and I'll post how people can contact Ray if they want to get in touch with him or any projects that he's working on. Just some more information on why it's not cute to share videos with monkeys or primates or with clothes or just like babies, and perpetuates the idea that they can be owned as pets, and none of them should be pets because I feel like most of them are social beings and they belong with their families where they're native to. Because I mean, imagine like if you got taken from your family and you're forced to be someone's baby and put these clothes on and take pictures with people for money, and I don't know. I can't not look at a primate and look in their eyes and not feel like I'm looking at a sense of myself, or because there's just so much emotion in, I mean, animals, but like primates are my number one. So, I just look in their eyes and I feel like I'm looking at a person, a person. They all have their unique individual personalities. And I know that we see that, in the wild or in captive settings. Doggy here. Sorry.
You want to say hi?
He woke up from his slumber. He's trying to catch his pudding. He's an old man. He's 16. There's a pic. I mean, you can't really see, but there's a picture of him back there. He's an English Staffy. They call him bucket pit. So he's like a pit bull, but he's short and stocky. Yeah, and hopefully, I mean, the next episode I hope is going to be about pit bulls, but this one, it's talking about primates. Try not to share these videos of them in clothes, or understanding why human interaction, or if and if you're going to post human interaction, give some context to it. Say I was helping at a sanctuary or whatever the reason is. That's super important too, that a lot of people don't at some of these roadside zoos. It's very irritating because I always see this one person just walking. I mean, yeah, it's kind of a forested area, but he's just holding the hand of a chimp and walking with the chimp, and the chimp has like diapers, and they're just hanging out. And
it's that chimp guy, right?
I want to say it was like it's like Myrtle Beach or something like that. There's one of those. Yeah,
Is it dog dental or something? Or no?
I'm not
It's
sure.
on dog dental or tiger, I think.
Oh,
I think I know what you're talking about. It's this guy who hold on to the chimp.
Yeah, and it's like just stop with that, or just give the context. This is a sanctuary. They're happy or whatever. But even then, it's like, we want to give show them as much as possible in the wild because that's where they belong. We don't want them to be seen as accessible as a pet because, I mean, if you're rich, of course, you can buy whatever you want. And I feel like most rich people I've seen some artists that own monkeys, and it's like they're too social of beings to be just with you and your human family when they should be with their primate family in the wild. Do you have any questions for me or anything?
What's your favorite pizza?
My favorite pizza? Okay, so don't judge. But it's cheese, just cheese, because when you go to anywhere new or just any place in general, I feel you can tell a lot of how the pizza is going to be with the crust and the type of cheese that they use. I'll eat like veggie pizzas. I stopped eating pork a while ago, so no more pepperoni and things like that. Enjoy the occasional veggie pizza. I like deep dish. Deep dish, yeah.
I like how you're like a scientist. You like the control, like just the pizza. Right.
to determine how the rest of the food's going to be, or to judge if it's a good pizza place or not, just on the cheese pizza.
How do you feel about pineapples in pizza?
I love it. I don't see what the whole hubbub is about, because it's kind of like, we have things that are sweet and sour, like sweet and sour chicken, or it's the same. That's how I view it. I don't understand the controversy. I really don't. What about you?
I love pineapple in pizza.
It's delicious.
Yes. I know. I think people just don't like it because other people don't like it, and they just want to be in the in crowd.
Right. Like it's cool. It's cool to hate pineapple on pizza. Like I don't. Yeah. Anybody who wants to join in is, feel free to comment after we post this video.
Team pineapple.
I love it. Is there good pizza places out there?
We have a pretty good pizza place in Durham. So my husband's from Connecticut.
Okay.
And he really likes this Connecticut style pizza. They call it Greek pizza.
Okay.
Only people from Connecticut. If you're listening from Connecticut, you know what I'm talking about. It's basically just like pizza, but like Greek immigrants made them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I believe, don't count for me, but I believe the secret ingredient is Greek oregano.
Huh. I do love oregano on pizza.
Yeah, and so the way they cut the pizza is that they're not in triangle shapes, but they cut them into like squares. Connecticut style. We have one down here in Durham, and it's really good.
Well, if I ever visit, take me there.
Oh, yeah.
I have
we gotta do pizza and lemur salad.
Yeah, yes. Oh my, for sure. Yeah, I have a bucket list where I want to have pizza in every single state. Yeah.
Did you get anything? Well, you got pizza in Chicago.
I did. That was the first thing I did.
The pizza at our conference, the place, like, I actually really liked it.
Yeah, I liked it too. Yeah, me and my husband, we actually liked it. It was like a glorified round table, I felt like.
I like that, like, it was like pub style or something. Like,
yeah.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more than deep dish, only because deep dish is just like, I can't finish a whole slice.
Yeah.
Just so much. You know what I mean? Like, it's good.
Yeah. It's too much.
Too much. Yeah.
I get it. I hear you.
Yeah. I'm gonna be the interviewer.
Yeah, please.
Now, what are your goals? What's happening this year?
My goals are to get accepted and go to Texas State.
Jill,
Yeah, shout out Jill.
you
Jill.
listening, Jill?
I did the virtual open house and it really made me feel better about hopefully if this does happen, not feeling so kind of just, I don't know, out of place or there's a lot of anthropology programs and classes. I saw this one where you can do like podcasting and learn how to be better at that and use equipment there. And I just thought that was so cool to have access to something like that to get this thing that I'm trying to get going here with the Chimp Chat podcast to get more of a general audience, not just primatologists, not like science world, just anybody, friends and family and have them share it. My bigger main goals are to do every single thing that I absolutely can in my power to ensure that all the species of chimpanzees do not become extinct because I know that they are all endangered. I think they're all critically endangered at this point. As more time passes, more species of not just chimps but other animals are just continuously going extinct. And as humans, it's our jobs to just kind of to make sure that doesn't happen. And I know there's a lot of people. Not everyone has a mindset of I have to save wildlife or primates, but there are a few of us, me and you and everyone else at ASP and in our classes and everything. But yeah, and I feel in order to accomplish that, you have to be out in the wild. And I have no problem with that. There's just like something inside of me. I feel like I was born to do this. I can't explain it. Like I feel like I was born in the wrong body in the wrong continent. I feel like I should have been born out there. I mentioned that to one of my good friends and she said, actually, no, like you were born in the right body in the right place because you can use your platform, you can use your privileges, I want to say. There's a lot of things we take for granted. Use my voice to bring awareness of what is going on out in the wild, not just with the wildlife, but the people who live around them and working with them and being serious about taking what they say into consideration to come up with real, not just strategies, but realistic strategies and for the long term. I really want to just be out there. It's an unexplainable feeling that I don't. I'm a twin. I don't know if you know that or if anyone knows
Yes,
that, but
I saw your first episode.
yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't
but
realize that you have a twin until I saw it. I was like,
uh-huh.
oh wow, that's
Yeah.
really interesting.
And so I don't know what it's like to not have somebody with me at all times doing things. But when
Mhm.
I was able to go to Africa, like I didn't even care. That's my first time traveling by myself, especially somewhere as far as that. I was just so happy to be there. I didn't care about, and I still don't care about having access to whatever food that I want, warm water in the shower, or just like all the luxuries that we have. Like none of that mattered to me. It still doesn't matter to me. Like if my husband was like, let's go to Africa, I would go in a heartbeat. Being out there, like when I first landed, I felt like I was home. It's just this feel. I was like, oh my god, like I belong here. Traveling at the airport. Oh god, the airport was crazy. It was Sierra Leone in Freetown, and just outside of Freetown, I went to Takugama Chimpanzee Sanctuary. But just the traveling there, then a ferry, and then taking a bus, and just like all these things, like I didn't care, like being out in the quarters where the volunteers are staying and the researchers stay, like the one thing that was, I'm terrified of spiders and bugs and things like that. I didn't care. And when I got there, just like falling asleep to the sound of chimpanzees, waking up to the sound of chimpanzees and just and talking with the people out there, make some friends. And I know that I'm gonna go back. I'm just not sure when. Hopefully, when I get a PhD, I'll either go to hoping that I get accepted. I would love to go to Fongoli and I would love to see all the things that Jill and her team what they do. And I just want to go to all the areas where wild chimpanzees are native to, mostly, Central Africa, all those areas and talk to people and figure out, because every region has different issues as to why chimpanzees are endangered, whether whether it's bushmeat, the pet trade, it could be a number of things. But the one thing that I did learn out in Sierra Leone was it's not. I think it's our misconception here, in the Western world, that people out there don't care about wildlife, when that's not the case whatsoever. It's that they don't think about them at all, because their priorities are making money, getting a roof over their head, food, feeding their children. I did see a lot of kids out selling things when they could have been in school or should have been in school, but it's, if you can't feed your family and that's means to make some money, then that's what you're gonna do. But I also did see lots of other things. Like, there was a big pile of garbage, but these kids were just playing and they were happy. Like, they were so happy. They weren't over here like, oh, I need my iPad and I need this and that, and I'm bored. I'm bored. It's like, oh my God, like, kids are such brats here. There's such brats here. And just to see how happy they were with what they had. And that's a difficult thing, I think, to instill in children here in, I don't want to say all of America, because there's some areas of poverty, but California, I guess I can speak on, because that's where I'm from. Yeah, all that, a lot of kids being happy in the schools. That I did visit some schools out there, and that was just seeing their faces of how happy they were. They're like, oh my, there's like this person, he is here, and they actually care about what's going on with us. And it was so cute. Like, I was taking some of the pictures of the school talks, and I let the kids take their own pictures, and they're just had such a good time. And the look on their faces is priceless, and so that's what I want. I want to do that here, but I also want to do that out there. Sorry, I said like a million things at once, but yeah, the main goal is to talk to people who live near chimps to figure out what their needs are first and foremost, to work together to try and provide that. And I feel like I can provide that here by using outlets such as this podcast, or I do have a website that I made where I'm raising funds. I want to exploit my friends out here, because it's we're exploiting their resources for our laptops, our cell phones, all these things. And I feel like it's also our job to give back, because it makes no sense to me that they're living in poverty while we're living like this, when it's their resources that we're taking from. So I also want to spread awareness on that too. That's like the main goal, is to make sure that chimpanzees do not go extinct, and working with communities out in Africa, and just do everything in my power to give back what I can.
That's interesting. So your work is more like ethology.
Yeah, I would think so. And it's hard to, like, I can't get a PhD in primatology, that just doesn't exist. It has to be anthropology or zoology, or any other sort of subfield. But
I
I
think our
think,
department would be a great fit for you, because we're a four field,
yeah,
and a lot of the cultural part of our department does a lot of ethology work, and I think that would be really helpful and great for you, judging from like the things that you're interested.
yeah,
In.
yeah. I mean, it's kind of more like I guess an ethnographic approach, somewhat too, but also an interview based too. Like, I want to interview not just people who live near these primates, but I think I'm more interested in the perspectives of the caregivers, like the park rangers and the caregivers who work in sanctuaries, because I think I'm going to have to go to certain sanctuaries to get my research done, or just, I don't know, find some sort of a tour guide who can take me out to places, not like in the main towns, but in the outskirts, because that's, I think, mostly where I think primates and humans interact, since in the main cities there's just so much deforestation and so much human encroachment that there isn't any more wildlife.
That sounds super interesting. Definitely, like, really great anthropological view into chimpanzees and how the world perceives them, and how
Yeah.
what actually is happening. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And how, yeah, exactly. because there's our perspective, but then there's also the reality that it's not like, oh, we don't care about wildlife. We care more about finding ways to have a steady job and a roof over our head and, feeding ourselves and our families. And which I have a feeling it's going to kind of be the same, just because of poverty levels out there. And unfortunately, the pet trade is so lucrative I mean, if I was in their shoes, I would be doing the same thing. If I had the means to hunt a chimpanzee to sell it to make quick money and make a lot of it, that's probably what I'm going to do if I'm being honest. But if we work together, we can find solutions. Like during some of the interviews that I had, a lot of people were telling me it'd be nice to have some sort of a vocational center or something, or somewhere where we can have people go to train for jobs or things like that. And I mean, I wouldn't think that that's what they're missing, but when we talk to them, that's when we find out. And how we can provide that, because I think that's something that's definitely doable. Raising funds to get a community center out there or something, that's doable, So
Yeah,
baby steps.
It's always great to have their perspective and not just like assume what they need, right? It's great to hear from them what they actually want, right?
That part, and just everything that I read, and like nothing prepared me for what I was going to experience out there. Like no amount of books or papers and I've read so many as we do. And
I have not leisure read since my master's program. Like I took this like 4 months off, right? And just like I can't get back into reading anymore.
I feel it. That's why I was after my master's, But I mean, I'm just, when we were out in Chicago, I went to Powell's Books and they had a primate section, and I lost my mind. I just bought so many books. I'm like, I don't know if I'll read these anytime soon, but I'm reading Jill's book. Shout out again to Jill. Her new book, Apes on the Edge, and I can't wait to finish it. I can't put it down. It's so interesting. It's so I love it so much so far.
Let's talk about punk.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't really know a lot about punk. I only know, I guess, Green Day is punk.
I mean, they're like more pop punk, I guess. I do love Green Day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
what got you into punk?
I want to say, I guess, we were born into it because my mother had us at a young age, and she was into all kinds of music. She was the one who introduced us to my favorite band, one of my favorite bands, The Clash, because we have her record still, Combat Rock, her original vinyl. She passed on a lot of great vinyl to me and my sister, actually. We kind of fight over it and what we have to share or like what we can hold on to. But yeah, I think The Clash is definitely one of my top favorite bands for sure. And then just being introduced to some of it from her and my aunt as well. My aunt, she has a set of twins. So there's 4 of us, and we grew up together very close. And so my aunt, she would take us to a lot of shows like in high school, which we're very fortunate for that. And the 4 of us did pretty much everything together. So we started listening to more bands together and showing each other, more music. And you just kind of go into like rabbit holes. Like back then, we bought like cassette tapes, and then they transitioned into CDs. You can read the labels, and you can figure out more about certain particular bands. They made like compilation punk albums. And so that's another, because the internet wasn't really a thing. So it was just kind of either word of mouth or going to shows or, whatever the opening band was.
The early 2000s is when we always get like the compilations, the greatest hits or whatever. Like 90s and the 2000s.
Yeah.
Are you an 80s child?
Yeah, I was born in 81. Yeah.
Okay. I was born in 80.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. So we know what
Yeah,
it's
like
like.
back in the day,
Yeah.
we get like the greatest hits, like
Yeah.
the compilations like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember those.
Yeah. For sure. For
Yeah.
sure.
I like pop, like 80s, 90s, early 2000 pop, but I'm like an old man now, so like I don't really like pop these days.
Well,
Young and
what's funny about that too, I was just talking to my sister the other day. I was like, we've been listening to the same shit since the 90s, and I don't think we're gonna ever stop. I mean, aside from other stuff that we grew up on, like 70s classic rock and just like 80s in general. If like my mom listened to a lot of 80s, so we have a lot of her really cool 80s records. But yeah, like if I had a favorite genre, I think it would be like 70s punk rock, but
Mm,
I was close to 80s because I love Tears for Fears is probably one of my favorite bands too. And everything was better back then, like movies and the fashion and the TV shows and the cartoons
right,
and all the
right.
things that we grew up on, before the interwebs.
I think we peaked in the 90s.
Yeah.
Then we peaked in the 90s, and the 2000s was just like, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
And now we're 2010, I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah.
I'm more into like now, I'm more into like indie bands now. Like
Yeah.
I really don't have a. I felt like I don't have a genre that I like now. I think it's more like the songs.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
like back in the 80s or the 90s, it's definitely like I like the pop. I like some old like songs that my parents used to listen to, like ABBA, The Carpenters.
Yes.
I grew up in a Commonwealth, so I listened to a lot of like Europops.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then my favorite band, Death Cab for Cuties.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They're my favorite.
Yeah.
Well, not my favorite, but yeah, I
Yeah.
love them. But if you're listening, Death Cab, please make a second album. It's been 20 years.
Yeah, I like a lot of indie stuff too. I have friends. It was mostly like right after high school that I started listening to more of indie stuff, like Modest Mouse and the other bands that I probably would
Mhm.
never found on my own. But yeah, I mean, music in general, love
Yeah,
it. Can't live
yeah.
without
Sometimes
it.
like I'll pick up like songs from like a show that I'm watching and say, "Oh, this is cool." Like
Yes. Oh my
now I'm
God.
saying, I don't know who these people. I never heard of, but this song's cool.
Totally, totally. With my Shazam, I'm like, well, who is this? Who sings this?
Yeah, yeah,
I guess that's
yeah.
one of the good things about technology is that we can, you know, do things like
Yeah, I
that.
remember. Like, imagine in the '90s, you're just like, "Who? What is this?" Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, nobody knows.
And then
Okay.
you'll never be able to figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. I do kind of want to end with this. Do you have any advice for aspiring primatologists?
My advice is you're never too late or too old to be a primatologist. Just hold on to that dream and you'll get to it someday. I guess I'm proof that, I got my PhD at 45. So
Yeah.
it takes a while, but you'll get there.
Yeah, you
Don't
are.
give
You
up.
are never too old. That's so great because it's true. I mean, here I am at 44. I'll be 45 hopefully going into I'll be 50 by the time I get it, but whatever, it doesn't matter. You could be 50
No,
starting, you're 60 starting. It's if you want to do it, if you you should. Don't let age stop you
unless
from
you have
doing
the passion
anything.
for it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, exactly. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time, and I'm so glad that we got to do this. And I mean, hopefully, it's the first of many.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Well, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll
You
talk
too.
soon.
All right. Have a great one. Bye.
Bye.